Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to It's Rainmaking Time. This is Kim Greenhouse. We have invited P.M.H. Atwater, one of the great pioneers in near-death experiences, back to It's Rainmaking Time after she graciously shared with us the history of near-death research several weeks ago. We are going to be talking today about her new book, Near-Death Experiences, The Rest of the Story. What they teach us about living, dying, and our true purpose. She is the author of 10 books on near-death research and also another book you may want to pick up called The Big Book of Near-Death Experiences, The Ultimate Guide to What Happens When We Die. She is loved and appreciated and recognized by Ray Reynolds, who has done massive amounts of police, investigative work, and more. She is appreciated by many people in the field, including Stephen Schwartz, Scott Olson, and Larry Dawsey. We welcome her back to It's Rainmaking Time to discuss the new book, which you all should pick up. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome P.M.H. Atwater back to It's Rainmaking Time. Good morning.
Hi, and I can talk pretty well this time.
Very good. I'm impressed.
Yeah, well, I'm trying.
You sound so much better. But the segment that we did a few weeks ago, you really shared so much incredibly substantive content about the whole history of this area. I think the first thing in reading Near-Death Experiences, the rest of the story that moved me is how you tied everything together about your near-death research, and you bring some of the most current revelations and discoveries of today, which I want to start with right off the bat. We're going to go to page 206, where you talk about the heart being the fifth brain.
Oh, it is indeed.
I want you to explain why, because I think that this is something that everybody can relate to right off the bat.
Well, most of the cells in the heart, when I say most of them, I'm saying between 60 and 65%, are like the neurons in the brain. I mean, they're identical. So the heart literally is a brain. And it responds to the brain, of course, instantaneously, but also the limbic system instantaneously. So you've got these three working together, the brain, the heart, and the limbic system, as if it were a giant organism that is capable of not only working within consciousness, but to be able to facilitate the true purpose of the soul in the body at that time. You know, when we talk about things like organ transplants, especially the transplant of the heart, and in most of those cases, the individual afterward begins to display the characteristics and personality and quirks and behavior traits of the previous individual. Of course they're going to do that, because the heart that has been implanted in the new person is literally part of the brain of the former person. So our heart has been scientifically established, not by me, this is science. Our heart is our fifth brain.
Fascinating. The other thing you said is that not only it's a major glandular structure of the body with an electromagnetic field 5,000 times more powerful than that of the brain organ. Explain it to us.
That's because of the emotions. That's because of its connection to the limbic system, certainly the brain, but you look at the heart, and its connection to the limbic system. Of course, the limbic is the seat of emotions in the body. But you look more at the brain and how it functions. It literally produces a torus around us. It's the center of the torus being the only self-organizing waveform in the universe. So it's sort of like a donut, you know, and the middle of the donut is the middle of the torus. The torus itself is the donut. So if you look at that self-organizing waveform, we couldn't have matter in the universe. Matter could not exist in our universe if we didn't have self-organizing waveforms. That's what, matter and shape and form, that all comes from the torus. So the torus in our body, the producer of the torus, the creator of the torus in our body is our heart. And our heart has to have a lot of energy to do that, to create that torus. And it does it, and just so fantastically. We're talking about the aura, and we're talking about energy and our senses. The engine of that is the torus, and the producer of the torus is the heart, not the brain. It is the heart. The heart is really, it's sort of like our heart of hearts. It's like the center of our being. That's not just poetry. That's fact. If you want to look for wherein resides the seat of the soul, throughout time, we've always said it's the heart. Well, of course it's the heart. That's where our major essence flows out from.
I thought that piece of information was a revelation, not that the heart carries connection to the emotional self, but that the heart really is where the action is in the body, with the soul, with the spirit, with all of it. You said, shaped like a torus donut, the heart field busily converts one form of energy to another as it generates an infinite number of harmonic waves. But then you say, these harmonics run throughout all bodily systems and are so sensitive that they react to conditions 4 to 5 minutes before actual occurrence. The futuristic awareness tells the heart if what's coming is positive or negative so it can prepare. First, the heart feels the coming event. Then the brain is aware of it. Then the eyes see it. That was the biggest wow for me, right. The way you articulated that.
And that's pure science. That's not metaphysics. That's that's not some psychic channeler. That's pure science.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is an example of the substance that's in this book.
Yeah, and it's all written in kind of an irreverent style, so it's a page turner. Hey, this is my last book on near-death research. Not my last book, but my last book on near-death research. And so I figured, hey, I'm going out with style here. I'm going out with a blast.
I want to talk about the fact that when people have died, supposedly at the flatline event, that you describe in the book an example of the blind describing the people in the room itself, as if they've been sighted when they've been blind since birth.
That's true.
How was that able to happen and why?
Well, nobody knows how.
Or why?
We would have to use conjecture to say why. And using conjecture, I can suppose here it's the soul. I can suppose here that they've lived before. I can suppose here that reincarnation is true. Because how else could they do it? How else could they know that red is red, green is green? How else could they describe patterns on a wall? How else could they describe a person's body, the different traits and features of the body if they've never touched that person before, if they've never heard that voice before, and that person walks into the room, let's say it's a nurse or an orderly, and they've got them. They can describe them, the features, everything. And they're blind. They've never seen at all. And we have a few of these cases. We don't have a lot, but we have a few of them. And it makes you stop and think. It's like, for instance, when we're talking about flatlined, we're talking about people that have been flatlined, no heart, no breath, no
brain activity.
No brain activity whatsoever, but to average between 5 to 20 minutes. Now that's average. That's not unusual. That's average, 5 to 20 minutes. Well, we know scientifically that the brain, if it doesn't get oxygen,